How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the results, some of the highlights in my opinion, and give you guys my thoughts, my review on the show. So it kicks off with Randy coming out with the championship, talking about how he deserves an apology, how, you know, he's the best, this and that. He calls out Stephanie and Triple H. They congratulate him, and I think Randy says he didn't need their help at Survivor Series. And he thought they said there would be no physical, interference. And Triple H says there was no physical interference. And we came out there because, it looked like we were about to have a new champion. Anyways, eventually John Cena comes out after Randy is like, I'm the greatest superstar in the last 50 years or something like that. And John Cena comes out and pretty much he says he wants to have a match, him versus Randy. We have two champions right now. How about having one champion, finding out who's the real champion, and challenges him to a matchup where the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship are on the line. And then Triple H says that's actually, or Stephanie McMahon, they say that's actually something they were talking about and thinking about for a while. And they say that at TLC in 3 weeks, it's going to be Randy Orton versus John Cena with both titles on the line in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. So both titles will be hanging up above the ring. And then after that, it was a 6-man tag team match. Rey Mysterio teaming up with Cody and Goldust to take on The Shield. They bring up what happened in last night's Survivor Series matchup where Roman Reigns eliminated 4 superstars, which is pretty much a record. Well, actually, he's tying a record. Somebody else also eliminated 4 superstars. Unfortunately, I don't recall who it was. I'm trying to think who it was. If you know who it is, tell me in the comments section. Is it Randy, maybe? I'm not sure. But, anyways, in this matchup, he was dominating as well. I guess it was a matchup to show those who didn't see last night's match how Roman Reigns can dominate in a matchup. He speared Rey Mysterio, then right after speared Goldust as well, but then Cody took him out of the ring with a drop kick. Cody Rhodes then went for Crossroads, but Dean Ambrose, Crossroads on Seth Rollins, but Dean Ambrose came from behind, grabbed Cody Rhodes in the finisher position for his finisher, the what's it called again? I freaking forgot. The headlock driver, and he hits it on Cody, covers him, wins the match. After that, they announced that the fans can choose the stipulation for tonight's match between Dolph and Damien Sandow. Once again, they could choose between a street fight, a lumberjack match, or a hardcore match. And then after that, they have Miz Tv, and Miz introduces the special guest host for tonight's Raw, which is Michael Strahan. And instead of him coming out, Titus O comes out with this this black thing on his teeth to represent the gap that Michael Strahan has. And I'm not too familiar with Michael Strahan. I think I only saw him once in a YouTube video or something like that, and it was John Cena coming onto his show and giving him a championship, a replica championship or something like that. And the first thing I noticed about him is that huge gap in between his 2 front teeth. So that was pretty funny to me. Titus O coming out with the gap and then making fun of it. And he was pretending that he was Michael Strahan, saying that there's a superstar backstage that he really likes, and it's Titus O. He's really charismatic, this and that. And at this point, I'm like, what? Did they turn Titus O. back heel? I don't know. But afterwards, a little bit afterwards, after they continue making fun of Michael Strahan, and The Miz makes fun of the hometown crowd's team, Michael Strahan finally comes out, and they go back and forth for a while. He announces a matchup for tonight. He announces a tag team match. John Cena, he calls it a double tag team match main event, but it's John Cena teaming up with the Big Show to take on Del Rio and Randy. And then The Miz kind of challenges Michael Strahan to a match. And Michael Strahan, or tells Michael Strahan, can you take a simple move, something like a hip toss? And then Michael Strahan says, yeah, sure. So The Miz attempts a hip toss, but he can't do it on him. He says he's stiff, so then Titus O tries, and he can't do it on him. And then The Miz tries again, but Michael Strahan counters and hits a hip toss on his own, or of his own, onto The Miz. And then Titus O laughs and starts doing the $1 Million Dance with Michael Strahan. But Michael then freaking hits a hip toss on Titus O. But then he gets up, and they all laugh it out and do the $1 Million Dance together. And that was it for that. Following that was a tag team match. Big E and Langston teaming up with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, versus Curtis Axel and Ryback. I thought the team of Big E, Langston, and Mark Henry was pretty interesting. It's like the world's strongest team, or the world's strongest man. And Michael Cole even pointed that out, I believe, on commentary. So, yeah, they end up winning the matchup when Mark Henry hits the world's strongest slam on Curtis Axel, covers him, and wins the match. Right after that was a rematch from Survivor Series from the 7-on-7 Divas Elimination Tag Team match. We had the matchup. First eliminated was Aksana. Brie Bella eliminated Aksana. Following that, Nikki Bella eliminated Rosa Mendes with Double Trouble, which is their like double team move, Nikki and Brie Bella's move. And after that, Tamina eliminated Naomi with a super kick. And then Tamina also eliminated Cameron, but with a Samoan drop. And then Natalya eliminated Tamina with, I believe it was a roll-up. And then JoJo eliminated Tamina Snuka with a roll-up. Afterwards, Alicia Fox eliminated JoJo with a backbreaker. I think it was a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And then Eva Marie actually eliminated Alicia Fox with a roll-up. But it was kind of a botch roll-up because Alicia Fox's shoulder was not fully on the mat. I think it was her left shoulder or whatever. And then Natalya eliminated Caitlyn with the sharpshooter. And then AJ eliminated Natalya with a roll-up. Brie Bella eliminated AJ with a facebuster. And then Summer Rae was like the only one left. She tries to turn it into a dance-off. She does a dance, and then just like last night, Nikki Bella does the worm. And then this time, Summer Rae tries to do the worm, but she does it terribly. Is terribly even a word? I'm not sure. But she does it and fails. And she tries to run away. But eventually, Nikki Bella just hits her torture rack finisher on Summer Rae and eliminates her. So the last three survivors were Eva Marie, the Bella twins, and the Total Divas team won the match. After that, it was time for the Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow match, and they revealed the pools, and the winning option was the Hampton Hardcore match. I think the second place option was the Street Fight, and the third place option was the Lumberjack match. So anyways, they go on with the match. This time the weapons were a lot different. You had tennis rackets, trash cans, steel chairs. Actually, one of the trash cans had actual trash in it. And it was a pretty entertaining matchup. Maybe not as entertaining as the last one, but it was pretty entertaining nonetheless. And Dolph Ziggler at some point, highlight of the match for me was the DDT, the jumping DDT onto the steel chair. Actually, no, that was not the highlight when I think about it. The highlight was the ending of the matchup where Damien Sandow hit his finisher, the full Nelson slam onto the trash can on Dolph Ziggler, pins him, and then wins the match. But also, I did like the jumping DDT onto the steel steel chair by Dolph Ziggler. Following that, backstage, you have Michael Strahan with Santino. They're talking, and then all of a sudden, Santino gets scared, leaves, and then Michael turns around, and it's Eric Rowan with the sheep mask on. He gives the sheep mask to Michael. He grabs it, puts it on. And then Eric Rowan leaves. Santino comes back and tells him some, stupid story about, get another mask like this, another sheep mask, put it on a turkey, and then throw the turkey away and nibble on the mask or something like that. And then after that, CM Punk gets introduced by Renee Young, and then she introduces his partner, Daniel Bryan. They cut a cool little promo about them as a tag team, them surviving against the Wyatts last night. And also about the handicap match they're about to be in against Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and Bray Wyatt in a 3-on-2 handicap matchup. He says Triple H is real original, whenever he sees a problem, he just decides to put them in the handicap match, or put anybody in a handicap match. So, anyways, the Wyatt family come out for the matchup. It was a pretty decent match like last night. Daniel Bryan locks on the yes lock, and I believe it was Eric Rowan? I'm not sure. He locks it on, and then it gets broken up. But actually, I think he was locking it on Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan broke it up. And then Luke Harper hits like a scoop slam into a pin on Daniel Bryan. CM Punk interrupts, and once he does that, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, they're all in the ring, and they attack CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. and the referee's trying to break it up, telling them to go back in their corner, but they're not doing it, so he disqualifies the Wyatts. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk win by disqualification, and then they keep on the attack. Luke Harper hits a viscous clothesline on CM Punk, and then they grab, Eric Rowan grabs Daniel Bryan, puts him on his shoulder, and then they take him with them backstage, or whatever, wherever they're going to take him. And then CM Punk finally gets up, and he tries to go after them, but he gets speared out of nowhere from Roman Reigns. And then the Shield grabs CM Punk, they put him back in the ring, and hit a triple powerbomb on CM Punk, which you haven't seen in a while. We've seen the spear, we've seen Dean Ambrose finisher, we've seen Seth Rollins finisher, but we haven't seen that triple powerbomb for a good while, so, you know, nice to see it back. Afterwards, in another rematch from Survivor Series, you had The Miz taking on Kofi Kingston. In the beginning of the matchup, you had Kofi Kingston offering a handshake to The Miz, you know, mocking him, or mocking what The Miz did last night. And The Miz pretends like he's about to shake Kofi's hand, but instead he goes for a slap. At the same time, Kofi Kingston goes for a slap, but The Miz's slap connects, and Kofi doesn't, I believe. But anyways, they go on with the matchup. At some point, Kofi Kingston hip tosses The Miz, and he's like, oh, hip toss, you know, referring to The Miz not being able to hip toss Michael and getting hip tossed by Michael. And in the end, The Miz rolls up Kofi Kingston for the 1-2-3 count to win the match. And then you get Mick Foley promoting the Black Friday sale for the WWE shop. He promotes it as Mick Foley, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack. Actually, not Cactus Jack, Mankind. There was no Cactus Jack. And then after that, you had, I don't know, I missed like the beginning of this segment or whatever, but you had Jerry the King Lawler asking some guy, somebody in the crowd, it's somebody, a celebrity or something. He's asking him, what would be your finishing move? And he says the circumcision. So King says, alright, I'm gonna have to cut you off now. And he leaves. And R-Truth's reaction was pretty funny, because R-Truth was in the ring. And then R-Truth introduces Xavier Woods. He said he talked to Bruce Clay about something to give a brother a chance. And then he introduces Xavier Woods, accompanied by the Funkadactyls. He comes out to the Funkadactyls theme song, or Brodus Clay's theme song, and he dances with them. He takes on Heath Slater. He hits his morphing time clothesline. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it pretty much it's a front flip into clothesline, and then he follows that up with his finisher to win the match. And then backstage, the Bella Twins come up to Michael Strahan with both with footballs to get them signed. He signs them, and then the Funkadactyls come in also with footballs. He also signs them. And then Eva Marie comes in, and she just comes in to tell him that he can check her out on her show Total Divas. And after that, after she leaves, Goldust comes behind, or on the side to Michael Strahan with his wig on, and he just does his that's the best way I can describe what Goldust does. He does that in front of Michael and then leaves, and that was it. Following that, they showed up the poll results for The Rock's best WrestleMania rival, and the options were Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, or John Cena. I was like, it better be Stone Cold Steve Austin. The fans better have chosen Stone Cold. It better not be John Cena. And yeah, Stone Cold won. John Cena was the second option, and Hulk Hogan was the third option, or not option, but freaking third place, which makes sense, seeing as how, you know, Stone Cold versus The Rock, they were, you know, feuding for a while, had multiple WrestleMania matches. John Cena and The Rock had 2 WrestleMania matches, while Hogan and The Rock only had 1 WrestleMania match. So moving on to the main event, Del Rio teaming up with Randy versus John Cena and The Big Show. This matchup, you had like a kind of a concussion angle going on with this match, where once The Big Show got super kicked by Del Rio, he kind of was like all dizzy. He was like, he didn't know where he was. He had this look on his face, on his eyes, like he didn't know where he was. And then Del Rio, Randy took advantage of that. Del Rio hit him with another super kick. He had actually Randy grabbing Big Show in like a sleeper hold position, while Del Rio hit him with another super kick. And Randy also hit a DDT on the Big Show, and he wanted to keep up the attack on the Big Show's head, but then the medics, like a doctor, comes in, checks in on the Big Show, And then he restarts, well, doesn't restart the match. They never ended the match, but checks on the Big Show. Big Show says, I guess he's okay, and he wants to continue. So then right away, Randy goes on the attack on the Big Show. But the Big Show eventually gets, I guess, situated or, tags in John Cena. And Randy tags in Del Rio. John Cena hits his shoulder tackle, signature moves, five knuckle shuffle, and everything. And Del Rio turns it around with like a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, but John Cena kicks out. And in the end, John Cena locks on the... Actually, Del Rio locks on the cross arm breaker. Actually, it doesn't lock it on because John Cena counters it into the STF. And Del Rio ends up tapping out after like 10 seconds or something like that. And after the match is over, the doctors are checking on the Big Show, on the outside, and John Cena also checks on the Big Show. He kind of peeks his head through the apron, through the ropes, because he's in the ring. And he's about to get out, but then Del Rio attacks him from behind. He puts him back in the ring, goes for the cross arm breaker, but just like at Hell in a Cell, and also just like at Survivor Series, John Cena counters that into the Attitude Adjustment. And then, from behind, Randy hits John Cena. Well, actually, not from behind. John Cena turns around, and Randy hits him with the WWE Championship right to the head. And then he goes to the outside of the ring. He grabs the World Heavyweight Championship, and then he holds both of them up as he poses over John Cena, and that ends the show. So, what did I think about tonight's show? Highlights. Highlights. I would say highlights number one would be the announcement that we're going to have Randy versus John Cena in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. I mean, that matchup alone, I love tables, ladders, and chairs matches, so that's good. But now, it's not only for one championship, it's for both championships, the World Heavyweight Championship and WWE Championship. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Whoever wins this matchup, what's going to happen? Are they going to hold both championships and can defend this one, and they can defend the World Heavyweight Championship as well as the WWE Championship? Or are they going to unify the titles like an undisputed champion and maybe just get rid of the World Heavyweight Championship, keep the WWE Championship? Because I don't think they would get rid of the WWE Championship because they just recently brought that, the new one, the new design. So I don't think they would get rid of that for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like when Big Show and Jericho won the tag team titles, or won the unified tag team titles, where they still had the SmackDown titles, tag team titles, and Raw tag team titles. Or they could combine. I don't know. Who knows? Also, but as far as Raw tonight, that was highlights. And also just Randy holding up both championships at the end of the show. And Roman Reigns looking pretty beast once again, spearing both Rey Mysterio and Goldust, one right after the other. And the matchup between Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow might have been the match of the night, actually. So if I were to give a rating for tonight's show, I would give it a 6 on 10. So the same rating I gave Survivor Series. And that is pretty much it. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. Stay tuned for some gameplay videos this week. And with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.